You're listening to Planet Vero Radio, and we're here with ACT Computers. My name is Billy, and I'm here with Jorgen from ACT Computers. How are you doing, Jorgen?
Great. Thank you.
So, we're going to be talking about today some of the most common asked questions you get as a computer service technician. So the first one is, should I keep my PC running all the time?
Yeah, that's actually a very, very old question. And I and myself and my staff gets asked that a lot of times, at least once or twice a week. And the simple answer is no. When you're done using your computer, turn it off, and that's it. Or put the PC in hibernation mode, so you don't have to wait for the entire boot cycle to get it working again. Turning your PC off obviously saves power and wear and tear on your computer and its components. A long time ago, people left their PCs running because they took forever to boot, which in today's technology, that's gone. With today's machines, you have instant boot technology and Windows 8, and together with static hard drives, that's a thing of the past, and PCs boot up immediately as soon as you touch a mouse or move a button on the keyboard. Definitely much, much faster.
So do Mac and Apple PCs, Apple products, do they get viruses just like Windows-based computers?
Yes, any computer can get a virus. Today's operating systems, they're so complex. There's always some type of security hole somewhere that needs to be patched by the manufacturer. So yeah, we definitely recommend to run virus protection on any type of computer that you have, no matter what system it has. But the other more important thing really is to keep up with the security updates that the manufacturer pushes out to your computer. And those come in through many different ways. So on Windows, for example, you have the Windows updates, which always seem to run in the worst timing when you want to use your computer or when you want to shut it off or turn it on. But, we have to run those. So make sure you don't, push these aside. Also, very important updates are from popular programs like Adobe Reader to read PDF documents or Java. Those are very important updates, and I can't tell you how many machines I see that don't have these updates done for a long time. So make sure you keep up with those, and that's how you keep your machine running perfectly fine.
Now, I've heard that it's harder for Macs to get viruses. Is that true at all?
The thing is, it's gotten more to the point now where they get more viruses. It's basically, they got more popular. So they're more of a target now, too, for hackers and people who write viruses to get things on it. But Mac is doing a very good job of keeping things out of their machines. They are a bit safer still, but, they're definitely catching up to that.
Okay. Now, how long should my PC last for?
Good question. They can last a very, very long time. We just got a PC back from a long-time customer that they actually bought in 1995. And it still runs and looks like new. It's amazing. These machines can run forever. It's the software and the performance that is important. And yes, most PCs are outdated within 3 years. For business use, reliability obviously is the most important factor. Like most PCs, you get 3 years out of them without a problem if you buy a quality computer. But you should think about replacing it if it gets older than 5 years, especially when it comes to like business service that are running all the time, 24/7, where reliability is the most important thing there is.
How does a computer from 1995 still running?
Actually, we got it in. It looks like brand new. We turn it on, and it came right up in what's called a Windows 3.11, which was out at that time. And boots just fine. And, like I said, computers can last a very, very long time. I mean, that thing can last another 30 years. Who knows?
Wow. So if I'm not using my printer, I'm not printing anything on a regular basis, will the ink in my inkjet printer dry out?
Yeah, that's actually a very, very often a good question. We get that asked many, many times. Definitely yes, and that could mean a costly printhead replacement. which, considering today's prices of inkjets, which most of them are actually throwaway items, it's might not worth to do. And if a printer costs you $50 and the printer costs 70, and ink costs another 60 to replace, then there's no point in doing that. We have lots of seasonal customers in Florida, obviously, who do not use their inkjet printers for a month at a time. So if you don't use the inkjet printer for a long time, I always recommend to take out the ink and put it in a Ziploc bag, put a little piece of Scotch tape on the actual cartridge itself. You can see where the ink comes out. You just have to wipe it off a little bit and just make sure you can get yourself all nice, colorful hands, which I get once in a while. But that keeps the ink from drying up in the inkjets. Now, if you don't need color, I always recommend to buy a laser printer. Lasers use toner just like a photocopier does, and they don't have that problem with drying out. Obviously, it is already dry powder, so don't worry about it. You can let these things sit for years, and they still work just fine. So if you don't need color, get a black and white laser. If you need really good fast color, then they also obviously are color laser printers out there, but they get quite pricey when it comes to refilling the toner cartridge.
Now, is there any benefit to running more than one antivirus software?
No, actually, it's a very, very bad idea to run more than one antivirus program on your PC, and that goes for any PC. It will definitely slow down the performance of the computer, and many times these programs compete with each other. It's almost like a little war going on between them. Because one program might find something, the other one finds the same thing, and they're both are trying to get rid of the threat at the same time, and we're not going anywhere. So definitely not. Just pick one good virus protection. We recommend Norton. That's been working great for a long time, and stick with it. Definitely don't recommend any free ones. If you do have to save money and go with a free one, the Microsoft Security Essentials is not that bad to use. We had many machines on the bench that had exactly that problem. They have no viruses on them, but they actually run so slow, and they're so busy checking for viruses that they actually have no time left for you. So basically, you turn your computer on, and they're just checking things, and everything runs so terribly slow because they are busy fighting each other. So it makes it completely unusable for the customer.
How far generally should my Wi-Fi or wireless internet reach in my house?
That's a kind of difficult question to answer once in a while. In my experience, it really depends on the type of house and if there's a lot of walls, concrete walls. But it really never is what the manufacturer puts on writes on the box. So if they say wireless access point gets you 300 feet, that's without any obstacles. That's outside. And unless you live in a tent, it's not going to give you 300 feet of coverage. In most homes, I maybe see 100 feet, 150 feet. Like I said, concrete walls are the worst for Wi-Fi to penetrate. In most family homes, one wireless access point will be enough to cover the whole house. But I always recommend to, if you can, and it's sometimes tough to do to run wires like this, put it in the middle of the house. Because that will get you the best coverage. If you can't do that, and you still have spots in the house where you can't get wireless, you can always get wireless boosters, and those are quite easy and inexpensive to set up. They cost about $30 to $50, good ones, and they just plug into a wall outlet and rebroadcast the signal to make the signal a lot better through the whole house. One thing I always stress, no matter what you do with wireless, is make sure that you set it up properly, that you have it protected to the highest possible encryption that your wireless offers. Most of the time, that's called WPA2. There might be some higher ones too, but be aware of that. If you set the security too high and you have an older notebook or something that doesn't understand the security, then you'll have problems connecting to your own Wi-Fi. So make sure these things match from your wireless and your wireless access point to your notebook.
Now, should I defrag my hard drive? And if so, how often should I do that?
Defragging a hard drive is getting to be more a thing of the past. What defrag simply means is to organize your hard drive contents, which, they get disorganized because when you delete a program, you get, or files, you get gaps in your file system. So defrag just means you're putting everything back into sequence so the hard drive has less work to retrieve the data. So, your hard drive is just like an old record player. It takes time for the heads to find certain things. And if it's in sequence, it makes it a lot easier and faster to find. Now, today's hard drives are a lot quicker, and Windows itself has a lot of things built in that optimize these things for you. So you really don't have to do this anymore. We generally don't run defrag on PCs because it takes forever, and the performance benefits are minimal. Like I said, Windows does a lot of maintenance in the background. Defrag is one of them. Back in the old days when we had IDE hard drives, like my first hard drive I had was a 5 megabyte, not gigabyte hard drive, which was the size of a computer nowadays. And yes, on these old computers, you had to run defrag to get the best speed out of it because the drive was terribly slow already. But nowadays, that makes no difference anymore. Also, on brand new drives, today's static hard drives, which are completely different than old-fashioned hard drives that have no moving parts, make sure you don't run defrag on those drives. Because they have no moving parts, there's no benefit at all to run defrag. It actually has a bad effect on these drives because it decreases the lifetime of your hard drive, on the static drive, because they have a limited number of writes that they can do. If you go past that, the drive becomes unreliable. I mean, not saying that SSD drives are unreliable, but normally they last for about 10 years on the normal use.
Okay, we're going to take a quick commercial break, and we'll be right back with Jorgen from ACT Computers. You're listening to Planet Vero Radio, and we're back with Jorgen from ACT Computers. Hey, Jorgen, you have you have a seminar coming up. Is that correct?
Yes, we do. We have seminars now every month at our store. The next one is on Wednesday, March 12th, and the topic is iPad and tablets. We actually had that seminar last month too, but we had too many people showing up, so we're doing the same thing again. If you'd like to attend, we have a total seating of 35 people, and need to RSVP by calling us at 567-7888. Again, it's Wednesday, March 12th at 6:30 at our store by the Kmart Plaza.
All right, and we were talking about some of the most common questions that you get asked as a computer service technician. And here's another one. Should I buy my own PC or should I build one? And what is involved in building one?
Well, it's up to you. I mean, if you are technically inclined and can follow instructions, then building a machine might be actually fun to do for you. Anybody can go out and buy a computer from a big box store, or you can just build your own. It's really not that involving, really. All the parts nowadays basically fit together. There isn't not much guesswork anymore. As long as you follow the instructions, you can normally build a machine up yourself within about an hour. We normally build machines up on the bench in about 20 minutes, but we have to let them run for 48 hours to pass the testing. But it's definitely a good idea to build your own, especially benefits is performance. The machine runs, they're a whole lot faster than once you build yourself because you get to pick what you put in there. So if you're a gamer and you want a better video card or better sound, you can add all that to your machine and you build it yourself, you know what you have. It's also a nice, proud thing to have, to build your own machine.
Now, what's the difference between a virus and spyware?
Well, viruses are made by people who want to destroy things. Basically, people have nothing to do. They might be sitting in a basement somewhere and they need to write a virus to, I don't know, something. But when it comes to it's just designed to destroy, data or make things not work on your machine. normally written by just an individual. But when it comes to spyware or malware, that is actually, stuff that's written mainly by companies for advertising purposes, or trying to lure you into buying products, or trying to fix things for free. And that's also why a lot of virus protection programs don't detect certain things, because there's a difference between those two things. There's a better chance of finding a virus on a computer through your virus protection software than finding all the spyware, because there's just so much out there nowadays.
Now, should someone who has a laptop, should they keep that plugged in all the time?
Definitely not. See a lot of notebooks that come in and people leave it plugged in all the time. First thing that can happen is, because it is plugged in all the time, you're basically overcharging the battery. Now, some newer notebooks, they know to stop charging a battery, and they don't overcharge your battery, but some do, and then your battery doesn't last very long at all. It might only last 6 months. Like I said, the newer ones know not to do that, but make sure you buy a charger that also understands that. So, make sure your charger works properly with your notebook and doesn't give you any error messages when you turn it on. Sometimes on certain machines, if you use the wrong charger, they will tell you in the beginning that it's not the right one and you need to buy the correct one. The second thing that can happen, and I see this quite often, is that when it's plugged in all the time, because of the heat and it's charging, it can actually, kind of destroy the plug, the socket where you are, plugs in all the time. And then you might move it around a little bit, and all of a sudden it doesn't charge anymore, because now the solder came undone, and you have to wiggle the plug on the side to make it charge again. And that is an expensive repair. We do these all the time, and it takes about 2-3 hours to take a notebook apart, fix that, and put it back together. But if you can, if you're done using it, unplug it, and then charge it up, and just keep on cycling it, but don't have it plugged in all the time.
Jorgen, thanks again for being here. And for the listeners, where are you located again?
We are located at 1525 US 1. That's in the Kmart Plaza. We moved there just since March last year. Our phone number is 567-7888. If you have any type of computer question, even if you're not one of our customers yet, you're welcome to call us, and we'd be glad to help you on the phone. Difference to us is when we pick up the phone, you actually get a technician on the phone, and they'll be glad to help you. Our website is also it's www.actcomp.us, and there's a lot of useful information on there. And again, thank you again for having me. I do want to remind everybody about our upcoming seminar again. It's Wednesday, March the 12th, and it's about iPads and tablets. It's free, but we have limited seating, so make sure you RSVP by calling us at 567-7888. And if you happen to miss this one, we have a seminar now every month. Like I said, just check our website. There is a button on there for seminars and a calendar that will let you know what the topic is. That might be interesting.